Do you sometimes feel God is not anywhere near us, although He is quite close to our heart? He is just next to us. Well, in my messages these days, I am covering post-resurrection appearances of Jesus. He appears to women, Mary, Salome, and other, and then He appeared to disciples hiding in a room. And today, He meets two disciples walking on the road to Emmaus, a town near Jerusalem, and He reveals His identity at the right moment to them. And suddenly their eyes are opened and they see He is Jesus. Watch this message today. Two disciples of Jesus were walking on the road to Emmaus, a town 6 miles from Jerusalem. They were discussing recent events of Jesus' crucifixion and were sad that their hope of a Redeemer of Israel were buried with the death of Jesus 3 days ago. They were confused and unable to understand what had happened. Quietly behind them, Jesus joins them. But they somehow didn't recognize Him. After all, why would they? They had seen Him crucified, dead, and buried 3 days ago. Face could be familiar, but then any common Jew in that region would look similar. He kept listening to them as they poured out their sadness, because they had hoped He was the Messiah. Then He began to explain them, showing how scriptures had already spoken of the Christ suffering first and then to enter in His glory. And as He spoke, something was stirring in their hearts. Something was changing in their understanding about this man who had joined them recently. When they reached their destination, Jesus kept on moving ahead, but they asked Him to stay with them and have supper with them. And on the supper table, as He blessed and broke the bread to share with them, suddenly their eyes were opened. They realized it is Jesus. And then suddenly Jesus disappeared. Later on they said, "Were not our hearts burning within us when He was explaining the scriptures to us?" At once they get up and go to meet the 11 disciples and explain everything they had seen. Well, the message is that Jesus is always walking with us. When we are worried, in anxieties, it is He who brings clarity in front of us. His presence is always with us in our hearts if we continue to seek Him through our prayers and if we meditate on the Word of God. He is always with us. So keep watching the coming messages also and strengthen your faith. All these stories are basically to strengthen our belief, our faith, and trust in the Lord, that we serve a living God and we worship a living God. Keep subscribing to my channel, share with others, post your comments, your suggestions and advice,